That's right, the show that everyone's talking about in their group chat. We do it here on Boston Has Entered the Chat inside our Salem 5 studio live. Travis Thomas, George Balekji. How about this? Wednesday, Hump Day, July 2nd. We're getting closer and closer to the 4th, my friend. Good to see you.
Look at that. Look at that. Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Potato salad, yes, no?
Yes.
Just no raisins.
Right.
What's that doing there, Karen?
Yeah, come on. You know you don't put no damn raisins in that potato salad. Stop that. Knock that off. But burgers, dogs, potato salad, you know the line.
I hit the potato salad off the plate.
Really?
I want more room, more fixins. Rather have another hot dog. I'll have more salad, even give me some fries. That's how I roll.
Are you a fireworks guy? Like every year you have to go to the fireworks?
100%.
I think I'm punting this year. You know
why? That
why?
little kid in me will never die.
Me either. Love the fireworks. But that's a little kid in me. Dad, I'm the one carrying everything. I carry every damn thing. I have coolers, the book bag, the kids' toys. Wait a minute. So it's fun when we first get there, but when the fireworks are over and you're fighting traffic, guess who's left with the bags? Me! I'm getting too over this, man.
Fair. Where I'm living in Wakefield now, walking distance to the fireworks.
Okay, see, that's different.
Call dinner 8:30, take a little cold bev with me, legal, it's no Tuesday, and then take a little walk to Lake Quannapoet and enjoy the fireworks. That's all it is.
Coming up on the program, it was retro night last night in Fenway, but Mother Nature, hopefully Mother Nature doesn't do this for the fireworks, had other plans for retro night. We'll see it today, though, for an inning or two.
We'll see how it goes.
So we pick it up in the 4th. Because it got suspended. I went to bed, George. I'm not even going to lie.
Really?
I tried to wait up, and I just couldn't do it.
I was up on Sports Hub, filling in, hanging with Barth on the 7 to 11. We were ready to talk Sox at 10. Oh, no, we just see the tarp going up. We go, tarp game, tarp game. Looked great, though, all those graphics they put on NESN.
It did look great.
Went with the throwback, the 75 in honor of the 75 World Series. Reds, Sox, since he did win it in 7, but that's
another topic for another show.
Let's honor Fred Lynn and Jim Rice. That's what it was all about. So it was awesome seeing that, so we'll get into that. And, of course, got to talk Bruins. Roster's coming together. Celtics, off-season's quiet.
We'll talk it all, but remember, we're interactive. So email us at chat@nesson.com, tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat, and call us 617-790-0928. We always love to hear from you. Let's start with the Bruins, because it's funny. I love doing shows with you and or Casey, because you two eat this stuff up. You live for this off-season stuff with the Bruins. Meanwhile, I sit back and I look at the big names, of course. And I'm like, Mitch Marner, go get him. Oh, Vegas, good move for them. Hey, Brad Marchand, maybe they can work it out and rekindle. Oh, he's staying. He'll probably win more cups with the Panthers. My worst nightmare, right? So now I'm looking at these names and I'm seeing size. I'm seeing physicality. Cool. But then when I talk to you and Casey, you both always tell me, hey, hockey now is all about speed and skills. And so I just don't know what. I guess if big picture we're looking at the offseason so far for the Bruins, as you see these names are acquiring, George, what are you seeing?
I mean, they've added 10 skaters, 3 of those guys either on two-ways or entry-level contracts. But the big additions was trading for Victor Arvidsson from the Edmonton Oilers. Now, this is a guy that, if he can get back to the 50-point scorer he was, as your third-line right wing, perfect. And he's on a prove-it deal as well. But the Tanner Jeannot, Sean Corrali, Michael Eismont, there we go. Still not pronouncing
This is why I lean on you in case.
To pronounce these names. Those are third-liners and fourth-liners.
Okay.
This team had to get better in their top 9 altogether.
Yeah.
Tanner Jeannot, is a brute, is physical, is a fighter. That's fine. But between Kostelic and Zadorov, you have that. And that's where it gets confusing. Go back to last year at the trade deadline, and the Bruins picked a lane. They picked a revamp, get younger, get draft assets. Carlo, Coyle, Frederick, Marchand out. In comes in the draft picks. In comes in guys like a Will Zellers, a Franz Minton, and we'll see if Minton breaks camp and the regular season to start with the Bruins in their starting lineup in one of their lines as well. We'll see if that happens. They went the route of faster, younger, quicker, more skilled. Great. But then when it came to free agency, they reverted back and swung back to big, physical skaters and also addressed the bottom 6 when they had to get better on the top 6, especially the top 9.
Yeah.
And that's where it got confusing. They had the cap space. I was banging the drum yesterday morning on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Nikolai Ehlers is there. Go get him. Elite right wing scorer, can contribute in the power play, is a veteran as well, and is a free agent. Sign him. And they didn't. Now they traded for Victor Arvidsson. Let's see if an extension comes out. That is their solution to the top 6. But still, when the best is out there and you have the money to spend, and the Bruins are saying, goal is, this is not taking time. We're getting right back to being in the playoffs, right back to being contenders. Cool. A lot of these signings, it was to fill out depth and really towards the bottom six, and that's where I get lost in this.
I hear you with Ehlers, but could I argue, just on the outside looking in here, I'm just throwing this at you, that maybe the class itself, the free agent class, isn't as deep as we've seen in other years or as good as we've seen in other years. Some of the big names I mentioned off the top, they were going quick, fast, in a hurry. I mean, couldn't you argue that if you're the Bruins, that, listen, we have to take what's available to us in the market, right?
But that was Nikolai Ehlers. That was Brock Besser. Now, Besser decided to stay, and that's on him. What the discussions were, I don't know. Ehlers still not signed. So you could say it's a weak class, but there still are those top-tier talents available. And you have the cap space to go out and get them, and it would make sense sliding in. A first line of Geeky, Lindholm, Pasta, and then a second line of Zacha, Middlestat, Ehlers.
Yeah.
That's a really good top six.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot of speed, a lot of skill, a lot of scoring. We'll see how Arvidsson slots into this. And that's a guy that played just 18 games in 2023, has just 21 goals the last 2 seasons. Can he get back to scoring? We don't know.
Don Sweeney had some thoughts of the offseason as well. Let's take a listen to what he said.
You know, obviously busy day, busy time period. Kicked off, I know last time I spoke, I was not necessarily indicative that we were going to get, Geeky and some of the other contracts done, but as I often reference, sometimes 1-2 conversations and, the deal finds its own timeline. So we're very happy to have that in place, along with a few of the other players that we could sort of start to identify how we were going to fill out our roster and explore, every opportunity. And I referenced that it would be through trade or through free agency. And we did a little bit of both, obviously testing the marketplace in terms of where we were, in Victor's case, happy to welcome him, his competitiveness, improving the power play. Marco and Steve Spott consulted, quite a bit when we identified he obviously was available, but Marco had him in LA, so it was a plug and play on what we felt he was capable of doing and bringing to the hockey club. And again, it was an area of goal scoring that we felt that may or may not present during the the free agency time frame that we were under. And then we went to work on finding, as I referenced, last week, that we were going to put together a competitive team with bringing some juice back in here. And that applies to bringing our, the elevating our current guys and them feeling reinvigorated coming off of some injuries in a very down year. And, just the responses I've had from those guys and realizing how excited some of these guys are to get here. And maybe it is from the bottom up, but the juice is coming and we expect to be a much more competitive team. And the improvements now come from within. But make no mistake, if a younger player has the opportunity to make our team, he's making our team. I think we did that, 2 years ago, and Poitras is a good example of making room. There's room. There's just the competition is there, and that's what we want. That's what I talked to Marco about through the whole coaching search, and even leading on the whole days leading up to today.
Lots to unpack there, George. I'm going to give you a couple bullet points that jumped out to me. I love that he brought the Geeky contract up because I remember when he signed that, I came on here and I said, that is such a safe contract. I mean that in the nicest way possible because if Geeky sort of maintains what he or sustains what he did last season, which was a career year, then that, look, that contract is a bargain when you really are honest about it. And if he does regress at all, it didn't kill you. That contract doesn't handcuff you. He also brought up Marco Sturm and sort of his familiarity with some of the players they brought in. I think that's very important for a new coach, obviously. We know 10 players so far they've brought in this offseason. That is depth. So some things jumped out to me there that are obviously good things. Lots to unpack, though, from that soundbite. What did you take away from it?
From what he also points out to is guys will be reinvigorated after dealing with injuries last year.
Yeah.
Elias Lindholm, Hampus Lindholm, Charlie McAvoy. Those are all pivotal pieces to have back into your team night in, night out. And Elias Lindholm played, but he was battling through a back injury we didn't know about until after the season.
That's right.
But still wasn't at 100%. So that would be, you would expect to step forward with an Elias Lindholm. Pavel Zacha, you got him more skill on his line with the Victor Arvidsson, and that's fine. Him slotting in, if it is him and Casey Middlestat on that second line or if they go down the middle, that's cool. When he talks about the familiarity for Sturm, that's a Tanner Jeannot, who they overlap in LA, the Terry Rain days, familiarity for Sturm with him overall. Bring him in, that's fine to fit the system. It's just still that it's line after line when you go 2 through 3 that is big, physical, forechecking, but lacking that skill and lacking that, attacking speed, that overwhelming speed.
Yeah.
This is a team, again, you want to see them get more modern with hockey, and it is, in a way, a copycat league. Maybe they're trying to go out and copycat what the Florida Panthers do, but they have skill and they have playmakers on each line.
Yes.
You don't have that solidified on your third and fourth line. You need depth scoring. What did the Capitals do that made them so good in the regular season? They had a terrific top 9. They were so deep and consistent down the middle. The Bruins don't have that right now. Now we'll see, is the offseason done? Could they swing a trade? Could they be acquiring? Could they be moving guys? Not sure. But this was a free agency where we saw them go out and really address their bottom 6 instead of trying to really get better and make it take a step forward. Now, are they a better hockey team than they were yesterday? For sure. But are they back to being a playoff team and a playoff contender? That's yet to be seen.
Remains to be seen. And a lot of things have to go right? Swayman has to stand on his head. Pasta has to be pasta. A lot of things have to go right, so I get it. Hey, we're talking Bruins offseason with you, not at you. Call us, 617-790-0928. You can also email us at chat@nesson.com or tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat. Now, development camp is also going on with the Bruins. Someone I know you love, James Hagens. You used to talk to me about this kid all the time when you were covering BC. He spoke to Sophia one-on-one about his excitement to be involved with the Bees.
I know it's been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind since when? Since like getting to LA or since before even?
I think honestly sitting down and seeing Happy Gilmore up on the screen, I think that's kind of when it starts. You have a guy that you love, you watch all of his movies, and then he's the one announcing your pick in the NHL. It's a pretty cool moment. So.
Have you saved that yet?
No, not
Let me
yet.
get a copy.
Well, they sent me a copy, so
Okay.
I made sure to send it to my mom.
Okay, good. So you have a copy forever,
Yeah.
and you can have that forever. Okay, so since then, I feel like you've probably been going nonstop. How's your, is it momentum? Is it adrenaline? What are you running on right now?
I think just kind of excitement. You get here, first thing you want to do is be able to get on the ice and wear this jersey, put on this uniform. It takes so much pride in being a Bruin, and when you get your first opportunity to wear the jersey, you don't say no. So.
All right, so, the future of the center position is taken care of for the Bruins because you love this kid.
We'll see how soon. Yeah, in the open ice, in the neutral zone, he's really good with the puck, has great decision-making, silky smooth hands, and that breakaway speed. But I did see him going back from his national development team days, going to playing in the Hockey East. Not just one of the best conferences in college hockey, but a grown man's conference. The structure of college hockey, like Maine, the Black Bears case in point, who won the conference tournament, you look at their top 6, their top scores, it was 21, 22, and older. James Hagens was 17 turning 18. He'll turn 19 in November.
Okay.
Still a young pup, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot to get used to. He hit that wall physicality-wise, going from developing to actually playing in the college
He's not
game.
a big physical guy. He's not physically a big cat, right?
5'10", 185 around there, 180
he'll
maybe.
grow into it.
And add to the frame, yeah. But there still is, you have to build on the strength and develop. The best thing for him, in my opinion, is going back to Boston College for year 2.
All right.
And that was in his future before this draft went down, before he landed with the Bruins, all of that. And it still makes sense for him. So, yes, we could talk about James Hagens and what he brings to the team, but that's down the road. Will Zellers is down the road. We'll see if Franzer Mintek can stick. Max Wanner, a piece I like that they got at the trade deadline, too. That's a guy, 21, is an NHL-ready defenseman. Does he end up playing for the Bees this season? I wouldn't be shocked, but he could still be a year or 2 away. But one day has that tabbing of, no, that's an NHL defenseman.
Sure.
He's not a prospect. He could be that. It's a lot down the road. So it is with the Bruins, walking that now and then path. James Hagens, great addition. They got the best guy available.
Sure.
It was the easy pick. Don't overthink it, and they did it. And I love that. Stick and pick and take Hagens, who falls to you. We'll see where they go from there. But again, when addressing the future, it's a lot of finesse and speed. With going with the now, it's a lot of size.
Hey, William Moore, another piece who's going to be down the road, another pick from the Bees here, headed to Boston College. He talked about his excitement with Sophia of being so close to the franchise. Take a listen.
What are you looking forward to with BC? I know you answered a lot of these questions, but obviously the program, you know about it. Now you're so close to the team that drafted you. What are you psyched about?
Honestly, the real question is what isn't there to look for? BC is incredible. It's not really anything I can say negatively about it, but just, the way I'm going to develop there. I think that's the biggest thing. That's why part of why the Bruins drafted me. That's because they have such a trust in the BC development program. And yeah, just excited to, keep learning, keep getting better, and, hopefully ultimately develop enough to, make the roster and, be an impact. So yeah, just super excited for my progression throughout.
George, I mean, look, we just heard from, two cats who will be in the future for the Bruins. But I wonder now, bringing it back to the current team, what's the identity you think of this team? I mean, it remains to be seen. It needs to be time for it to develop. But what do you think it will be, gut feel?
I think it's the same as what we saw last year, big physical play.
Okay.
And you want to be that, that's fine. You have to show up for your goalie. The 5 guys in front of him have to show up for him because that's what the Florida Panthers do at the end of the day. Sergei Bobrovsky is not the Vezina winner Bobrovsky. He's making a lot of money, but they understood how to have 6 goalies on the ice.
Right.
The Bruins have to do that. And the goalie does have to step up when you need him to as well. But this seems like a team that, just like last year, big, physical, wants to be on the forecheck, but you need it from every line, and you need it from all your guys on the ice to battle for pucks, to get the dirty goals, to not just hang around the dot and try to rip one-timers.
Sure.
But play in every way. And they also need in all of this, too, who the quarterback of their power play will be. That's a big piece, too. Marco Sturm, how he's outfitting his coaching staff, bringing in guys from the Dallas Stars that were good with the power play there, one of the best in the league. Cool. Who leads a power play? Because that's something that's been missing for the Bruins. And a kid like William Moore, as a prospect from Canada, but came up through the U.S. National Development Program, that's a guy that will be a center one day, that can affect the game on special teams and at the center position. But again, that's down the line.
All right. Hey, our off-season party continues as we go from the ice and we pivot to the hardwood. Celtics having an off-season too. It's stressing me out. I'll tell you about it next when we come back here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. And remember this, get the latest up-to-date live. We've got Boston sports headlines along with your daily dose of trending sports and social topics every weekday morning on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Catch us live at 8 a.m. on Nesson, 9 a.m. right here on Nesson Nation, every Monday through Friday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Boston Has Entered the Chat. George, we're talking Celtics offseason.
Well, you're not
in this
excited
segment.
about it?
I'm stressed out. I'm not going to lie. I appreciate the ring. I appreciate the banner. But I really felt like I'm still hurt from losing to the Knicks. I'm still hurt from Jason Tatum being on the floor writhing in pain because of his Achilles.
Yeah.
And now I watch this offseason, a whole damn team is traded outside of Tatum and Brown and Derek White for now. Okay? So, George Niang, Luka Garza, that's the front court? I'm supposed to be okay with that?
Xavier
I'm not
Tillman,
okay with that.
Xavier Tillman, Nemish Queta.
Stop.
That's the center position.
That's disgusting.
That is the center position. But that's what it is. This Celtics offseason is not about basketball. It's about business.
Yeah.
And that isn't some tired new ownership narrative. No. The second they brought in Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, they knew this second apron was coming, and it was about figuring out to get a championship and then offload the books just in time. They won that first chip. Then it was all about repeating. And it didn't go their way. But at least they went all in and won.
Yeah.
You talk about what you're hurting for right now, look back to the parade and enjoy that. It's not going to be a long time till you get another, but you had that. Because what the Boston Celtics could have been, they could have been the Phoenix Suns. They could have been the Los Angeles Clippers. Trying at it time and time again with different variations and different big threes. No, they got it with the Jays and Derek White and Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. They got that one.
They did.
They broke through. Now it's that shift of, with Tatum out, likely this upcoming season, I would not rush him back.
No.
Getting the books in line, getting the roster in line when he returns, making a push for another one. Because just as the Celtics are dealing with the second apron right now, other teams will be dealing with it by the time they're back to full strength and fully contending again. That's a fact of the matter. Look, they were quiet in free agency, and they have to be. They got Drew Holiday's contract off the books and Kristaps Porzingis. To me, it points to Anthony Simons. Much easier to move, much more, enticing for other teams. And again, because signing James Minot, that put him back over the second apron. This is a team, and we may not see until the trade deadline, Travis. It's all about at the end of next season being under that second apron. That's what saves them from the repeater tax. It's all about what they do moving forward, and it's going to be a long time before we see the final variation of this year's Celtics.
Well, right, yeah. And that's the thing, too. I almost feel like they're in basketball purgatory in a sense because they are so talented when you have a Jaylen Brown, when you have a Derek White, even without a Jason Tatum, we understand that. But then at the same time, like, okay, well, the East stinks. So what's that mean? You're a 7 seed? You're a 6 seed? Congratulations. Yes. You're out of the lottery, right? Like, I almost want
You're
them.
the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes. Like, pick a lane, kind of.
And they did. They picked rebuild. They may not like to call it that. And a rebuild it is.
Well, okay, then let's stay here.
Their hand was forced.
Yeah.
Because if there was Tatum, it wouldn't be a rebuild. But their hand was forced by, it is a rebuild, and it may look different, but when the expectations for the Boston Celtics are contending and you're finishing 6th or 7th in the East, that's a rebuild.
Okay, then let's stay here. Then there are levels to rebuild.
Yes.
Maybe I should word it that way.
Not all two look the same.
You need the demo day, HGTV, if it's going to be a rebuild. Now, I understand keeping a Jaylen Brown, but you move a Derek White then. Like, go all the way. Tank City, baby. I don't like this sort of, well, you know, we still want to compete. We want to be a playoff team. I don't think that does you any favors when you get a Jason Tatum back. That's where I'm going. If you're going to rebuild. So maybe an AJ DeBonsis is in this lineup. That's what I'm saying. Tank for the #1 pick, Cooper Flagg style.
But it proves if you tank, look at the Utah Jazz. And if you get in, look at the Dallas Mavericks. 1.8% chance to get the #1 overall pick. That's a chance, and they got it. And the AJ DeBonsa pick, yeah, you should have been shopping around and figuring it out because the Pelicans were dumb enough to move their first rounder unprotected and give it to the Hawks.
Gosh.
That very well could be AJ DeBonsa there.
It could be.
The matter of the tanking to get the #1 overall pick, it's not that simple in the NBA. But I'm with you on the tanking. Get off the books, revamp this roster, get picks, get younger type of players that are high-impact players on your team. Because Derek White, Jaylen Brown, those reports from Shams, Windhorst, whoever, they weren't stopping. And that meant, they kept mentioning those names. That meant the phone calls kept coming in.
Yes.
But as Brad Stevens said, it would have to be the offer of all offers. It would have to be super enticing, a Godfather-esque offer. Mm-hmm. They were probably getting phone calls, multiple firsts, multiple players. But it wasn't enough, and I don't blame Brad Stevens. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, 2 elite wings. Derek White, a high-functioning, impacts the game in every facet, point guard that you want. Shooting, defense, on and off the ball, and rebounding as well, and can run an offense, and you can run the action through him. That's what you want. And yeah, he's getting older, but that game doesn't leave him because it's his style of play.
Sure.
Brad Stevens knows what he has with his core.
Yeah.
And he's paid them, but let's see if he can navigate it by paying all 3 of them and figuring out the second apron.
This is why we say in Brad Stevens we trust.
You have to.
By the way, I haven't seen you since the draft. I saw a tweet from the Celtics where they have all the draft picks signed, sealed, delivered. Let's talk Hugo Gonzalez, because that's the one everyone cares about. I made Adam Pellerin laugh on Monday on this show because I came on, first thing out of my mouth, I don't know if this kid's going to be any good or not. And he started laughing. I said, look, I'm just honest. I'm not going to sit up here and lie. These international players, half the time, we think this guy's going to come over, it'll translate, he'll be a star, and they're a draft bust, okay? Then you look at a Jokic who goes in the second round. No one thought anything about him, and he's one of the greatest players of all time. We just don't know with these international players. It's not like we've watched them during March Madness, like a Cooper Flagg, and we're familiar with them. It's different. Hugo Gonzalez, I like his size, 6'6". He's really a natural kind of true point guard.
Yep.
He can guard 1 through 3. I think that's the key.
And he plays above the rim, too.
He does. In this positionless NBA, right? Like, you want someone who can guard multiple positions. I think he can do that. He was quite literally a child amongst men playing because his team was loaded, and he's a teenager. So I get it. I see the potential there. But I don't know if any of these guys are going to pan out, George. I haven't heard of any of these cats.
With Hugo Gonzalez, again, he could either start the season with the Maine Celtics, or he could start the season with the Boston Celtics, or he could start the season with FC Barcelona. I seriously have no idea. Real Madrid, excuse me. I literally have no idea where it starts for him. Great in the half court, really good fundamentals and footwork, understands how to put a defender in conflict once he puts him on his hip, and I like how he affects the game in rebounding. He plays above the rim, attacks the offensive boards. High motor, competitor, that's what Joe Mazzulla wants, that's what Brad Stevens wants. Doesn't have a shot, but he gives them something that they need, a ball handler that can make decisions in the half court and initiate action again. And if you surround him with the shooters, it can work. But when will he be with the Boston Celtics? And I think the best of him is down the road, which is good, but he's a question mark. Everything with the Celtics right now is a question mark. This lineup, and I understand the concern. George Niang,
Oh.
Luka Garza,
Oh,
Nima
Lord.
Shiketa. I get it. But that's not for sure the roster we're going to see when they enter the season. And it's not for sure the roster they're going to have post-trade deadline. And for sure it's not going to be the roster they have when Jason Tatum returns.
Yes.
It's about getting under the books,
Yes.
avoiding the second apron, getting back to the business of basketball while setting yourself up for the long-term success. Right now, the best thing they have, paying Pritchard $7 million a year, 3 more years of control.
That's a starting point guard now.
If they want to, yeah. And he should be making 20. Dennis Schroeder just got $15 million a year.
Lord.
Payne Pritchard should be making 25 a year. They have Sam Hauser, team control, $10 million a year next few years. Enticing piece to move as well, though. That's the thing. They have the structure and the guys in their building. It's a matter of how you supplement it around a Jason Tatum.
You make a great point, because I'm saying how stressed out I am with this offseason. But then I saw Luke Kornet get paid, and I was like, yeah, okay, I get it.
Over $10 million a year for Luke,
and we
a
like him.
backup center.
We like him. We love Luke. He helped with the ring.
Yeah.
Thank you forever.
Yeah.
You should never buy a drink in Boston ever in your life. But I ain't giving you that money, right? I mean, good signing for the Spurs. It makes sense for them. But I get it. You're right. It's a business. This offseason was about business, and it was about getting under certain numbers, and we all understand that.
Yeah.
I just feel, I don't know, maybe I'm just emotional, because I think we'll look back years from now, assuming Brown and Tatum don't get another ring, okay? Assuming that. I think we'll look back years from now, and we'll see all these conference finals and all these playoff wins and moments from these two specifically.
Yeah.
Their era, right?
Yeah.
We'll see the finals loss to the Warriors, and then we will see that ring and say, great, why didn't this team get more?
Yeah.
They'll become sort of a what if. Does that make sense?
Since Jason Tatum arrived to Boston, when him and Jaylen Brown are a duo, and Jaylen Brown's a guy that worked his way up from a 6-man to 3-and-D to finals MVP.
That's right.
They had a 9-year window of the Jays so far. 6 Eastern Conference Finals appearances, 2 of those taken to the NBA Finals, and 1 ring. In a 9-year window that was always ahead of schedule, dealing with Gordon Hayward breaking his ankle.
Kyrie.
Going and leaving the team. Exactly. Dealing with all that. Multiple head coaches, Brad Stevens, Ime Udoka.
Scandal.
Exactly. And Joe Mazzulla thrown into the fire literally a week before they broke for training camp in Canton, Massachusetts. That's what this team has been through. And they've been through the Marcus Smarts, the Malcolm Brogdons, becoming the Drew Holidays and Kristaps Porzingis. I understand the emotions and the frustrations for Celtics fans, but I'm not, and it sounds tongue-in-cheek, I'm serious. Look back on that parade, because there are teams across the league that go all in. Look at the Timberwolves right now.
Yeah.
Look at the Clippers. Look at the Suns.
Right.
Look what the Mavericks did.
Knicks.
Even though they have that 1 pick. Look at the New York Knicks. They were getting to an Eastern Conference Finals and partying like they won the NBA championship, because it's been 25 damn years since they got to that level.
And they ain't getting back.
This is a franchise that's won in 2008, in 2024, and been to ECFs in between as well. It's hard to win in the NBA. We've seen 7 different NBA champions the last 7 years.
Lord have mercy.
That's a new parity the league wants.
That's what they want.
But you have a guy that leads the front office. If Brad Stevens pieces this all together, he figured out how to go from coach to GM to leading a front office, president of basketball ops, figured out the big 3, the Supermax era, winning a ring, and if he can navigate or retool and get through the second apron, the new CBA era, and win again, exactly. That puts him in a whole different type of conversation.
Yes.
It's about, you've said it, what have you done for me lately?
Yes.
Well, lately he helped you get a ring, but what have you done for me lately? If he gets you back to that mountaintop and overcoming a Jason Tatum coming off a ruptured Achilles, that's different, man. Build a statue of Brad right above the banners lurking, hanging over the catwalk. That's a statue of Bill Brad overlooking this basketball team and bringing them back to the mountaintop.
Look, man, we are athletic. We ain't athletes, but we are athletic. And we played enough pickup ball to know if you have ringers, 2 ringers on your team, everyone else we can figure it out.
Yes.
As long as you keep Tatum and Brown as the nucleus, then we'll just see what it looks like when Tatum comes back, what the team looks like around them at that time. But you have to keep those 2.
And as we've seen, the Rockets, man, the way they loaded up.
Bro.
Okay. The way the Hawks have loaded up. The way the Knicks added a Jordan Clarkson
Magic.
and not Matisse Thybulle, Yabusele, French player.
Even the Magic.
And the way the Magic loaded up, exactly. So if you figure out the business now, and then when you know when Jason Tatum returns, the landscape's going to be different.
Yes, it is.
Basketball is going to look way different on who the powers are in the NBA. It's figuring out the business. Those other teams are taking advantage of the Celtics, the Pacers being down, and the Thunder figuring out if they can run it back. When the Celtics are back, the landscape's going to look different, and Brad Stevens will have to figure that out too.
This is why I love you, man, because I was so stressed out. I'm looking at the time like, is it too early for a drink? Oh, and then you talked me off the ledge.
Bloody Mary, maybe?
Oh.
Not after the weekend I had in Saratoga. No way.
Come on.
No way.
Bloody Mary's the reason why you should get back in it.
Hair of the dog.
Hair of the dog, baby. Boston has entered the chat. We'll talk more sports and less drinks next. Roll with us right here, please. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hair of the dog.
It ain't bad, man. It ain't bad.
Welcome back to Boston has entered the chat. Let's get into what's trending in the world of sports, and we stay right at home, baby, right at Fenway. How about retro night, my friend? 1975.
Looked good.
Well, it looked great, actually.
17, 18 at that point.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Man, I wasn't even thought of yet. My dad was like, Travis, who? I don't know no Travis. Dad, I'm right here.
He still says that to this day. Who
to
are
this
you?
day, bro. Look at this. Nice retro. It was a really cool broadcast, too. 1975 style broadcast. TC and Jim looking clean. How about our guy Jemai was looking clean?
Look at those graphics.
It was fantastic.
I mean, fit out perfect. Like, I like a good retro look.
Yeah.
Hit the nail on the head, knocked it out of the park.
Look at this, bro.
OB and Lou bringing back throwback suits, extra big ties. I think they got that out of your closet. Again, they just borrowed those jackets and ties from you. Jemai stole the show, though, with his
He did.
man, going all the way. I guess disco's look, because that was big in the 70s.
I guess, man. I'll take their word for it. I wasn't around yet. But I tell you what, we'll see the look again today as the game actually picks up in the fourth inning, because Mother Nature had other plans for this whole thing last night. Sox were up 2-1 over the Reds, so we'll pick that up in the fourth today.
Yeah, and that was a team, too. In a game, we saw Roman Anthony get an RBI, have a double in that game. The Bats get on top, get out to a hot start again, being at home.
Yeah.
It was that we could all go with loving that retro look, and that's when the game was suspended until today. First pitch will be at 2:30, of course, right here on NESN.
Come on.
But also with that, it's a Red Sox, again, trying to get their heads above water.
Yeah.
And continuing to hit. Can the pitch show up? I mean, Richard Fitz was good through 3 innings.
He
Just
was.
2 hits, 1 earned run. It will be Brian Bayo getting the start in a relief appearance since he continues the game on this one.
Sure.
But again, every game is so pivotal for the Red Sox. Craig Breslow spoke with TC before the game, and he was asked, you're given the 15, 20% chance to make the playoffs. That's what the computer's saying. Breslow's like, yeah, what that's really saying is we need to win more games. We need to solidify ourselves from getting into the postseason.
Yeah.
The players have to give a front office a reason, but also the front office has to give the roster and the lineup support where they could bust their butts on the field. They need to be given more talent to play with as well to secure themselves as really getting into the postseason.
I saw a lot of fans tweeting, and we're going to get to some tweets, but I saw some fans tweeting that for the retro look that we did at NESN here, the Sox and the Reds should have gone with the retro jerseys as well.
100%.
Did you feel like it was a missed opportunity? Because I kind of did.
I just picture those 75, Jim Rice jerseys, that on Jaron Duran or Roman Anthony. And same thing with the Cincinnati Reds, what was it, the Big Red Machine?
Big Red Machine.
Those jerseys as well, that is what is needed. MLB needs to get on board with this. We can pay tribute, run it back to the 75 World Series, where the Reds did win in 7 games.
Yeah.
The jerseys got to match.
I agree. All right, give us that Rampage tweet back. I'm sorry, Rampage. Rampage 1963, we see you, we get into you. The Sox commemorating the 75 World Series. There was 3 straight days of rainouts between games 5 and 6. So naturally, we have a rain delay in this game. So Rampage 1963 was around, George, unlike you and I. He remembers. Hey, listen, that rain delay, I tried to stay up. After a while, it was my cue to go to sleep. How about my man Jemai here? Gabrielle Starr tweets, it's a 1975 Red Sox kind of night at Fenway. And Webster on TV is feeling groovy, baby. Yeah! Far out!
Crushed it with that shirt and the Ray-Bans to match, too. Perfect for it.
Dude is just swagged out every day, so he doesn't even need the retro look.
Exactly.
He's swag. He's walking swag. All right, how about this? Celtics draft class signed, sealed, delivered. They are all in. I just told you, I don't know if Hugo Gonzalez is going to be any good or not, but we know he's signed, sealed, and delivered. Here they are right here, all the draft picks, George, looking good in green.
Given their numbers, 29, 28, 77. Look, Hugo Gonzalez, first-round pick for a reason.
Yes.
Most pro-ready game out of the three. But again, how long does it take him to get there?
Facts.
Do they start the season in May?
Facts.
Do they start it in Boston? We'll see. And you got our guy Larry.
Yeah.
Congrats to these young men. Wish you the best. Doesn't look promising. I don't know. I'll be happy to be wrong.
He's right. It does not look promising.
Congrats to you guys. I hope it works because I don't think it's going to.
Right. That's how
Paulo
I feel.
Casso, hot take. Celtics should keep the team as is. Stay under the second apron. Well, they're above it now. This team may be fun next season, but no expectations. We suck right now. Might as well let JT heal, get some high draft picks, be a contender again. I don't see where Brad can go from here.
Keep this tweet up. No, go back, please, Jenna. What happened here? This team may be fun next season, but no expectations. We suck right now. I'm confused. What's fun about not being good at basketball?
Whatever it's called, the 10 stages of grieving. That's it right here.
He went through all 10 quick.
Yeah.
In
It's
one
like,
sentence.
man, I enjoyed that banner. We stink. We're going to be fun, but we suck.
I ain't never put my feet on his couch. Yeah, I remember putting my feet on his couch. Like, well, what? We stink, but they could be fun. No, they're not.
It's the wonder and the unknown that Celtics fans will be tuning in for this season. And it will be game to game. Let's be real. When you're winning all the time and blowing everyone out, that gets boring to an extent.
This team was boring when they were winning.
Not knowing win or loss night to night, who's going to step up night to night, it makes it interesting.
Bro, that is a toxic relationship that we just described. Like being on an emotional roller coaster,
Yes.
not knowing what you're going to get. We're looking at that. Well, they could be fun. I am stressed out, bro. Niang and Garza.
Stop.
Again. Is your front court as of now.
What did we talk about on Hold My Banner when we brought up Luka Garza? What did you say? What did you say to me? What did you say?
I said we're not going to see
No.
Oh, the DC thing?
He's big in
He's
DC.
a DC high school legend.
And I go, why? And you go, his high school days. If that's the first thing you got to bring up,
Yes.
they ain't a good NBA
And
player.
college. He was really good in college.
Yeah, he was really good at Iowa.
He was.
4 years ago. If that's your lead on the pitch on why you should take a guy, in the NBA, 4 years later, you don't take him.
You said something about Niang where you said, we're not going to see a piece of... We're not going to see a picture.
We're not going to see a single tweet. We're not going to see a single promotion. They put out the jersey numbers on the rookies. George Niang, we haven't seen anything on him. Official announcement, signing, social media post. We're not going to see any of that. He's out, man.
Celtics, you deserve better than us clowning on you this early in the morning. But damn, you're not helping us out here.
10 stages of grief. We got to laugh through it.
All right, Giannis reportedly unhappy with the Bucks for waiving Damian Lillard. Now, this according to Chris Haynes. Look, I get it. I mean, Haynes tweeted this. Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo is not pleased with the team's decision to waive Damian Lillard. So listen, here's where I'm at with this. If I'm Dame, now the money makes me feel better. Don't get me wrong, because he's getting all his paper. But damn, he battled blood clots, trying to get back to his team, comes back, pops an Achilles.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what more do you want from me here? I'm trying. They waive him. It feels like Dame's the least of their damn problems, right? But then they go out, they sign Miles Turner for all the money in the world. Like, that's going to help keep Giannis happy. I told you during the season, I thought Giannis should have forced his hand with Milwaukee. He's been there long enough. If anything, having Dame as a teammate should have taught him don't be loyal to a franchise for too long.
Yeah, don't be loyal to a fault.
We're all good with loyalty here, but at some stage in your careers, you start to get a little long in the tooth, and you haven't won. At least Giannis has one ring. Dame didn't, right?
Yeah.
At some point, you got to get the hell out of there. And I think Giannis is at the stage now where he should consider that. I think he should have considered it yesterday.
He's been considering it. He always goes back and forth, and it's like with the way it plays out publicly. But that point of him being upset with Dame being waived, that comes from Chris Haynes, who is Dame's boy. Like, the whole reason Chris Haynes has his career is credit to Damian Lillard. He has a relationship with him. He's that source for him. But that's his guy. So, yeah, of course he's going to say Giannis is upset with how Dame was treated because one of two ways. It is embarrassing to a point. He waived him and stretched out the money over 5 years.
That's embarrassing.
And it's also the simple, probably a phone call, Giannis to Dame or a FaceTime. Yeah, man, it sucks. I'm really pissed about it. But Giannis is just saying that. Dame tells Haynes, and Haynes puts it out there again. With all this, it was the right move because he's about to be old, coming off a torn Achilles. They need to win now for Giannis.
Yeah.
And what player is he going to be back? He's all about shooting and athleticism, and he's not going to have his legs under him at an older age. It made sense for the Bucks. And again, this is the world of the second apron.
Yeah.
You have to be a savage with some of your decision making because with the new CBA and all the tax penalties these owners are paying, this is reality of it. They don't want to pay taxes. What do we know about the rich? They want to pay no taxes at all.
Right.
They want to pay 0.0000001%.
Uncle Sam kicking my butt, man.
Exactly. Go ask Bezos. He could throw a $50 million wedding in Venice. He'll pay $1 in taxes. That's what all these owners are about, and they're trying to avoid that any which way possible.
Okay, hold on. Stay with me before we go to break. Dame recovering from an Achilles.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum recovering from an Achilles.
Yeah.
Dame now at this point, he got to be pennies on the dollar. Mm-hmm. Celtics
Boston.
right now kind of need everything, but certainly a point guard. Do you bring a Dame in and you say, hey, man, chill with Jason. Go on and recover. We got you. And then in 2 years, you get Tatum, Dame, Jaylen Brown, Derek White. Now we cooking with gas. Even Dame at an older age, I feel like that works.
If Dame accepts his role, which is running what? Not just the backup squad, but maybe like the deep end of the bench guys, then yeah. It's all about accepting his role, what he'll be. I don't know what he's going to be physically. Tatum, much younger, coming off a torn Achilles, is a lot more different than Damian Lillard coming off a torn Achilles.
I tell you what, Brad Stevens is such a evil genius that if he's not interested in Dame, that's enough for me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If he doesn't kick the tires on him,
it says a lot.
That's right. That means it's that. All right, so still to come here on Boston has entered the chat. There's a lot of off-season talk going here, so let's get the Patriots involved as well. We'll call an audible and get some Patriots off-season talk right here on Boston has entered the chat. Roll with us. We'll be back. And remember, get the latest up-to-date live. We've got Boston sports headlines along with your daily dose of sports trending and social topics every weekday on Boston has entered the chat. 8 a.m. right here on Nesson, 9 a.m. on Nesson Nation. Roll with us. Time now for a game of Would You Rather? Patriots edition. Here on Boston has entered the chat. Okay, TJ Watt, Trey Hendrickson, two elite, not good, elite pass rushers in this game. Terry McLaurin, an elite wide receiver in this game. All three of these guys unhappy with the money, honey. They want new contracts. Their teams aren't budging. Could be available via trade. We're hearing TJ Watt's being shopped around very actively right now.
Hello, hello.
I mean, George, out of these three candidates, all three would help the Patriots. Which one, if you had to choose, who would you rather the Patriots go get?
I would, out of this list, I want to acquire and I want to attack the biggest weakness. I'd go for Terry McLaurin.
Same.
Give me a pass catcher in this one. He's a vet. He is a professional to every extent of the word.
Yep.
He's one of the best wide receivers in the game. Consistently 1,000 yards, downfield receiver, and addresses all of Drake May's wants and needs in the passing game. Outside the numbers, downfield wide receiver.
Yep.
And also addresses the needs of this Patriots offense. Stephon Diggs, Kendrick Bourne, Pop Douglas, Jalen Polk, all underneath slot receivers. Terry McLaurin takes the top off the defense. Perfect mentor for Kyle Williams.
Yeah?
I want Terry McLaurin. But damn it, when you see TJ Watt's name out there,
I know.
you got to kick the tires. Because if it's just simply a second or third round pick because you have to pay him and you have all this cap room, I'm doing that. He's 30, about to be 31.
And what's Hendrickson,
all these
30?
guys, all of them are same, 30, about to be 31. Terry McLaurin, 29, about to be 30. They're all in their prime, or Terry McLaurin entering his prime as well. He's been in his prime.
Okay.
The age is a factor.
I think I'm going to be blasphemous here. Please don't throw your water in my face before you hear me out. So I'm with you on McLaurin, right? I think I'd rather Hendrickson over Watt. Here's why. Put the water down. Here's why. I think it's because the asking price would be less. Meaning, the Bengals have no one on defense because they paid everyone on offense. They don't have any money, okay? So you could hold their feet, theoretically, to the fire and say, listen, we're giving you, I don't know, a second round and a whatever, right? Where TJ Watt is going to demand more because, hello, it's TJ Watt. And the Steelers aren't in desperation mode. We're seeing them moving and shaking now, saying they're going all in with their offseason moves, right? They're going for it. The Bengals are a mess as an organization and certainly defensively. I think Hendrickson, would be easier to acquire in terms of asking price. Is that insane?
I think if you do a simple, you can do like Keon White and say third round or fourth round.
I don't want to give him up.
Well, you're getting real talent. You got to give them talent back. And think of the Bengals in this move. If they're smart enough, where the Patriots do have the leverage, but you need more than draft picks, I would want, and the Bengals are in win-now mode. You pay Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. You get Keon White, that's a guy under a cost-control contract, a team-friendly deal.
He can play, too.
Exactly, and you need help on the defensive line. It's not going to be as simple. Exactly. You don't want T.J. Watt because you don't want to give up a first. You want Trey Hendrickson. You're likely going to have to give up a real player, a good player, and a starter on your defense. But you're getting Trey Hendrickson, 18 sacks a game, back in return.
Productive.
So would you be willing to give up on a Keon White when you know what Trey Hendrickson is?
Damn it, man. I would, yes. Okay, to answer a question, yes. But I don't want to do that. But yes, I get your point. So really, you agree with me. You think T.J. Watt's a better player.
Yes.
Okay? But asking price-wise, fit-wise, Patriots realistic-wise, Hendrickson is a better acquisition in this case, I think, because of the asking price. Also, Hendrickson, you mentioned 18 sacks last 2 years, right? 17 and a half, I believe it was. He's available. He plays. He doesn't miss games. As great, maybe old-timer great as T.J. Watt is. I mean, he misses time, George. That concerns me.
He's played 17 games the last 2 seasons, but you're right. Before that, 10 games played, 15. So he would get nicked up, miss a game or two. Of course, in the case of 2022, only played 10 games in that. If you like what you see in T.J. Watt and you believe as he's about to be 31, 32, 33, because that would be the contract, 3 years, 4 years, last year's a dummy year, you get out at that point.
Sure.
You would have to believe in physically he'll be available for the team. He fits the system and he can be a contributor. And again, too, you're paying him for 3 years and he's getting up there in age. For any of these guys, that would likely be the length of the contract, 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
That is 2 to 3 years before you have to pay Drake May. That is 2 years before you have to pay Christian Gonzalez. And that's where the timing of this all adds up. Now, if you believe in your defense, where you signed a Harold Landry and a Milton Williams, Christian Barmore is already extended, you have Keon White, you drafted a Braden Swinson and a Joshua Farmer, you have the depth on the defensive line. You don't have the depth in the wide receiver room. Kyle Williams is nothing but a prospect, hasn't played in the NFL yet. Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, you have to believe in what you see from them in their room. Stephon Diggs, I was a believer in him, not anymore.
Yeah.
Especially after not just messing with the alleged 2C on the boat.
Right.
But also posting that pink brownie cupcake recipe thing.
Weird.
Throwing water in everyone's face of, I got out of talking about it, but I'm still going to troll y'all.
Yeah.
There needs to be a leader in that wide receiver room for the rookie quarterback, second-year quarterback, who I believe will be great, but also for a young wide receiver room, which you need to be great to help out your quarterback.
You know they call me Hot Take Trav.
Let me hear it.
Any chance you can get 2 out of the 3? In other words, because we agree, Terry McLaurin's the answer. Okay.
All right.
Give me Terry. Give me, I don't know, who you want? Kendrick Bourne and a 3rd-round pick for Terry McLaurin. And we're paying him. He gets a bag. Any chance they can get a Trey Hendrickson or a T.J. Watt also and go all in? Because here's one thing. We're talking about the Patriots in a futuristic sense. It's very youth movement with the Patriots. Oh, when Drake May develops. Oh, when this guy. Oh, if these young receivers come together and figure it out. No. I mean, if you get a Terry McLaurin and you can get one of these other cats, whether it's Watt or Hendrickson, you're playing to win now. I mean, you could win the division here. Do you think we could see that, or is it more realistic to just get 1 out of the 3?
You would have to go a Kendrick Bourne, probably throwing to Jalen Polk, and let's say a third for Terry McLaurin. You're going to have to pay him?
I'm doing that.
And then you would have to do a Keon White and throw in possibly a first for T.J. Watt. You would be losing a lot of top-end draft capital. But again, if you believe that they are still in their prime and can contribute and be healthy, I pulled the trigger on that. You have 2 great years in Terry McLaurin left, maybe 3. You have 2, maybe 3 great years left in T.J. Watt. If you believe in your window, which time's out in my opinion,
I agree.
I said it would be 3 years until they get serious from the drafting of Drake May. This is year 2 of the Drake May, year 1 of Mike Vrabel. And a year or 2 from now, they'd be serious contenders. That's a team that goes all in. And as we've seen it, draft picks pay off. You have to add to the offense. Or draft picks, you can give them up and it pays off because teams have shelled them out and it works for them. But you have to draft and develop at the same time. That's a lot of draft assets you're giving up.
Yeah.
But you're getting a wide receiver, sure thing wide receiver. And you're getting a top-end edge rusher as well.
It's one of the reasons why I said it's a hot take, because teams that do that go all in, give up the draft capital for the now, are veteran teams generally. This is not. This is a younger team. So I could see a Terry McLaurin move. I don't really think a Hendrickson or a Watt are coming here. I really don't. I don't think they're going to go all in that way. Now, if they can't get a scary Terry, and one of these Watt or Hendrickson guys is available for a Keon White in a first or second, depending who it is, then maybe. But if as far as getting 2 out of the 3 or all 3 of them, I don't see that, because that's not how this team is constructed now. It is a youth movement. It is about developing these young guys.
A team that would go all in, that would make sense in a way,
Who?
the Detroit Lions. Now, they don't need the Terry McLaurin, but they go after TJ Watt and Trey Hendrickson because they're out of the conference. Because they want to go back to Baltimore. They need that wide receiver.
Yep.
They need the edge rusher.
Yep.
But Hendrickson and Watt both within division. There's no way those teams do that deal. Especially when you're the Steelers, you get Aaron Rodgers to be a contender. You're the Bengals. You don't want to see Trey Hendrickson kick Joe Burrow's butt. But as a pass catcher, Terry McLaurin, the Ravens have to pick up that phone and make that consideration. They need that wide receiver for Lamar Jackson. It's enough messing around with him. Zay Flowers is good. He's not a 1. Terry McLaurin's a 1.
They could have used that wide receiver in that playoff game where Mark Andrews all of a sudden couldn't figure out how to catch. Remember that?
Yep.
Get involved with us. Patriots offseason. Email us at chat@nesson.com. Tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat. Call us 617-790-0928. We want to hear from you. We always appreciate you here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Hey, roll with us on Nesson Nation next. We're not going anywhere. Neither should you. We appreciate you. We love you. Boston Has Entered the Chat. Stay with us.